Haley and I just got back from BC. We haven't been out here since our trip, and right before our trip we got an absolute monsoon amount of rain. And after that, while we were in BC, we were getting even more rain here. So, I did do a little cleanup work before we left. However, we have not been back here to see what kind of damage has been done, because the amount of rain that we've been getting here in Vermont is astronomical. It's beyond anything we've ever seen, at least in our lifetime. So I would not be surprised if these trails are going to need a lot of work. So we did do our due diligence and try to make things drain well. All right, let's see what we have in store for us. All right, I'm not too concerned about any of this stuff. Wow, that's grown over, holy crap. These vines. That's the tree. It was like a widowmaker. We had to take it out before we left. And all things considered, it doesn't look too bad. This is one of those situations where there's a rut right there because water is flowing right here. So if we get rid of some of the schmuck, I guess I'll go do it over there as well. Not bad, not bad. Nice. Yep. This looks weathered, but not battered. Okay, this needs to be a little bit deeper, but I think we concluded that before leaving. Oh, that's what it was. I was trying to figure out. That looks nice.
Oh yeah, look at all the ferns that came back there.
Ferns are growing. Oh yeah, I love that. I love to see it.
That's why we renaturalize.
The ferns would dig their roots in and create a little bit of a structure to hold the embankment back. So it's not just for aesthetics. There is some practical applications to that. See, look at this. Look at all this stuff doing its job.
Wow, water's been pouring out.
Okay, so here is our biggest erosion point. Right here. We'll have to figure out how to fix this. All right, so that concludes our walk. Got some good information about what we need to do and start tackling the next part of the build. This is the third video of a video series that's documenting the trail that I'm building. Anyway, this is where we're at. There's an A line and a B line. The A line comes off that rock drop and into this berm, and you're screaming. The B line goes around the rock drop and then into this berm. It should be noted that everything, or every trail here at this network, will be adaptive friendly. So everything I'm building can be gnarly, but it needs to have an adaptive option. Now, what does adaptive mean? Those are for people who may have a disability and they might not be able to ride a normal bike, so they have kind of like a 3-wheel, a 4-wheel bike. If you go to Whistler, a lot of those trails, even the blacks and double blacks, are open to adaptive riders. You'll see actually a different rating system for adaptive riding, and so these trails are going to be adaptive friendly. So with that in mind, that's why we're building some of the features the way we're building. What you can't see is right here we have basically added about 4 feet worth of material to build up onto this rock, or rock is underselling it, a boulder. We've built up onto this boulder. One thing that I do need to do is, you can see it's off camber, and since this is an adaptive trail, I will need to get rid of this hump and try to level this out a little bit. That way adaptive riders who can't shift their body weight around aren't being pitched off into the abyss over there. I've laid out the trail, so we're going in between that beautiful hemlock and that really cool boulder that's wedged in a bunch of trees. Now I should say, We will include a bunch of A-lines in this as well. One of the things I would like to incorporate is this like root on rock mess. It'd be cool to have an A-line that goes through the trees and down here, and then connect back into the trail down there. So with a lot of these builds, I don't go into them with a clear plan. I have an objective, I have an idea of what I'm trying to accomplish, but the exact goal is not 100% known until I'm done building. A lot of times with building, there's a lot of uncertainties. We don't know exactly what's underneath all this dirt. I don't know what the weather is going to throw us. I don't know a lot of things. So I'm building and adapting to the environment and all the different things that get thrown at me. Okay, so that was a lot of blabbering, and we're probably about like 5 minutes into this video. I'm going to get started building whatever comes off of this rock. See, it's starting to get wet and soupy, and so that's going to become a problem. So I want to fix that before it becomes a big problem. I need to come in tomorrow and or next day, whenever I'm back here, probably put in like a culvert right here, or some kind of something to take water from this spot and push it over that way, because that's where water is going to drain. You can see it pulling up already. So I kind of built the infrastructure in anticipation of needing to do that. And then the other thing I did is, like, I'm starting to build a little bit of a water bar there, so I'm going to try to elevate the riding tread, because I think there's going to be a lot of water coming from this area into here, and unfortunately I don't know if we're going to be able to do the high line. I want to do the high line, so maybe that's something we can come back and do by hand. Anyway, I'm going to leave it off and come back tomorrow. Alrighty, so I got myself a new toy here. This is a Yard Max, whatever that says right there. It is a motorized wheelbarrow, and I'm at the point of the build where I am going to have trouble going back and forth with the excavator. So I need a little buggy like this to, you know, pick up some rocks and stuff, put them in there, and then transport them. That way I'm not tracking over stuff that I've already worked on. So I'm actually pretty impressed. This was the first time I've actually taken it into the woods. It's a little tricky because the way you steer with it is similar to how you would steer a bulldozer. You got your throttle, which you don't really play around with. You kind of set at one speed. You got your parking brake, or like essentially to like go, you need to pull this. This releases both brakes. And then you have a brake here and a brake here. So it's always wanting, when you pull that down, it's always wanting to move forward or backwards, depending on what gear you're in. And so to steer it, you need to stop a track. So if you're going forward and you stop that track, it's going to turn to the right. If you pull the left lever, it will stop the left track and you'll turn to the left. So it's pretty intuitive. I will say, I don't have the biggest hands, but like it's actually a pretty far reach to get down there. So that was one thing I noticed on the climb up. It was kind of tiring, but we're here and it's time to do some trail work. All right, so I'm analyzing the situation. I think what I need to do is I think I need to clean this off, and I need to see if I can start building a bench here, because so there's this rock, which isn't really a rock. This is bedrock or ledge or whatever you want to call it, because that's the same piece. Maybe it's fractured somewhere, but I can't move that. So I need to build up and over this. Also, when you see rock like this, water is going to want to flow down the rock. So I'm also going to need to elevate it and try to rock armor this and give the water path to go. So these are things to consider, because water is your biggest enemy out here. But yeah, let's jump in the machine and go do a little trail work. Alright, this so far, it doesn't look sketchy at all on camera, but this so far is the sketchiest move I had to make. There's a bunch of ledge right there that I had to go around, so I had to like build symmetry out of the way. I had to build myself a little bit of a platform to get down, and yeah, not much support, so. Approaching this with abundance of caution right now, but I want to build this up with some of these rocks, so I'll build myself a platform and see what we can do. Alrighty, so I think I've concluded that I am going to need to, I'm going to go on an adventure and try to find some rocks. So I've made this wide enough where I can get the thingy through. Then Haley over here is going to compact this stuff.
I'm just trying to think it through. This is like how fast I want it to go, right? Like the speed.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the throttle.
Choke open. There's no prime, it's self-priming. I knew there was one more step.
It starts pretty easy, doesn't it?
Oh, damn. She wasn't ready yet.
Feel it here.
wet. I was trying to do it before it got too wet, but there's so much moisture. And it's definitely packed. It's just messy. A messy pack.
I think we've come to the conclusion that we're just going to fill this with rock. I thought about putting a pipe in here, but I think if we completely fill this with just rock, which we have plenty of, I think this will drain. Because like, there's never really water flowing here. It just kind of collects and then goes through. It really doesn't look like we filled this up with that much rock, but like, that's a lot of rock in here. So that's good, because this needs to be really built up. And as you can see, we got a bunch of water flowing. We keep getting more and more rain. It rained last night, and the water is just trickling down in there. So there's plenty of big gaps for water to trickle through. But here's something you're gonna find funny. So I got ready, got all my stuff in the car, drove out here, unloaded the car, and went to go put on boots. Grabbed the boots and realized they were a size too small, because Haley and I have the same set of boots. For me, that means I'm in my Crocs right now. Well, they're not Crocs, they're Amazon special Crocs. Alright, so it's just been shy of 2 hours that stuff's been on there. And it's supposed to like really start kicking in at 2 hours. And I honestly don't know if I mixed it correctly. I was just kind of eyeballing it. So they do have a correct ratio, which I don't know if this stuff is going to work this time. I'm sure it works, just maybe not how I did it. But anyway, I need the camera, so instead of watching the rocks crack, we're gonna go down here, because in the meantime, I had been using that thing to help chip up some ledge so I can get the excavator through. All right, it's probably hard to tell, but this rock is in the way, and it's about 30 something inches. I broke up a lot of it already. I'm trying to make room so I can get the excavator through that and back up to there to finish off cleaning that section off, because I never finished that. Kind of built my way into this pickle, and that's where I am. With that stupid little thing, I was able to chip away most of that rock. So now I have enough room to get the excavator through. So now it's time to jump in the diggy and get digging. I don't feel comfortable enough skirting around the rock, because this side is a little bit unstable. It's a little bit unstable, and what I want to do is I want to go grab some of the rocks down there. For context, that's where the excavator is, and this is where all the juicy, fun rocks are. So I'm gonna try to get them up there. Come on. right, that should be enough rock to kind of get me started here. So I'm gonna build a little bit of a platform, then cover it with some dirt.
This junk.
You have a drilling mode, you have a drilling and hammer mode, and then you just have straight hammer mode. I'm just using just a hammer mode. Alright, as fun as that is, I do want to see if I can split this rock. So there's this giant slab right here, and if I could break it off, I think it would be a good fit for this area. It kind of looks like Vermont. Anyway, that's where we're wrapping up. Hard to tell, but got this all nicely rock armored. You can see all of this rock was added. That was just a standalone boulder, rock armored that. You can see water just trickling out right there. And then what I had been doing all day is I came back through and regraded this. So there's a little bit of a kind of a gap to there, gap to the far end, and then I wanted to give that a little bit of a belly to create a drainage. But Haley noticed that there's some fluid leaking, so it looks like this thing, this fitting came loose and there's a little bit of fluid leaking, so definitely need to tighten this. Well, it's hard to tell if that might just be water. Okay, that's tight. In theory, that should have fixed the issue, but I should pay attention to see if it gets any worse.
Hello, it's been a few days since I've
recorded video, but I've actually been working. I actually came back through and did this section. So put in a French drain, and then what you can't see is that's all rock armored. This is all rock armored. Yeah, Haley and I spent like a day or two doing that on top of kind of rejigging this section. So now I think we're at the point where we need to move on. This section is handwork finishable. We have a lot of extra dirt right there, and well, dirt's fine, but because of the bench that we've been doing down here, it actually took a lot of dirt away from right here. I want to keep that like up and over as a like option for people to do, but I also want to make this a line. So here's what I need to do. I need to grab dirt from the hillside, put it in the wheelbarrow thingy, then track it down here, dump it there, and then build this up enough for then I can take the rocks from up there and rock armor this. built line is coming in all right. Have a little bit more work to do, but I think we're on a good pace. I'm gonna jump into excavator and actually start excavating down below and trying to probably yank some of these rocks down and see if I can start on the roller. Well, I thought I recorded coming down here, but I didn't. Anyway, machine's down here. I want to get rocks from up there. So, well, I'm pretty happy with how this is looking. We got it across the stream. We got everything kind of tidy, roughed in, I would say. A lot of this stuff is still a little bit soft. Probably have to do a little bit of tweaking to this to get this to flow right, but the idea is there. The idea is there, and I'm gonna end it on a positive because I'm really liking how this looks, and I can't wait to get that line between the birch trees. I think that's going to be really cool. All right, today I just need to do a bunch of cleanup. I've gotten the project to a point where I'm pretty happy with it, and I just need to go back and fix some of the things I disturbed. So I think we're on the tail end of this project. There's a few more things I want to wrap up before calling it done, but we've gone through the stream and I want to get the trail roughed in or situated going into the next section. And I'm going to leave that section probably for the next video because it's another kind of similar situation like this where it's a pretty interesting like rock feature, and then we just go through a gauntlet of rocks for a bit. But one of the things that I do want to do is I do want to make that A-line. I'm going to save that for a volunteer day because I think that's a good hand-built project that people can get excited about, and it'll be fun to build it with a bunch of other people so they can take ownership of it. So with that being said, I'm going to move on this way with the machine and bench cut through this section. While I'm over there doing my thing, Haley's gonna go over here and clean that up and make it look pretty, because it looks
much organic dirt to use, but
yeah, just like any like organic material, branches, leaves.
Yeah.
If you find big branches, chop those up into little pieces and throw it on top.
Yeah.
One thing that's probably hard to see, but right here we got a very wet spot. So All right, so even the dirt that I dug up and put over there was pretty wet, so now we just gotta pack this as much as possible and wait for this to dry out, and eventually we should be able to work with this. I'm gonna guess some of these spots is gonna take about a week to dry out, but I think, well, obviously excavator's kind of sunk right now, so it'd be nice to get that out at some point. In my last video, I saw some comments asking me why I didn't build a drainage like this on the high side of the trail. The reason being is up there, the dirt that we were working with is this stuff right here. It was very sandy, and this stuff drains really well. So you don't really have to worry about water from the high side as long as it's sloped downwards and you kind of have some undulation, some water bars, you'll be fine. Here, literally right at that pit is where it changed from sand to a very dense clay, and the water does not permeate clay very well. So in like this situation, I do have to elevate the riding platform and build a water bar, because there's going to be a lot of water coming down the hillside that's not going to go through the clay and drain well. Hopefully that makes sense. It really depends on the soil type and what kind of stuff you run into. So in some situations you'll build a drainage on the high side, in some situations there's no need. So if there's no need, makes sense just not to. All right, so we're back out. We've had several sunny days with a bunch of rainy days mixed in. Last night it rained a ton, and the dirt that I'm standing on is actually pretty firm. As I get closer to the excavator, it gets a little bit soupier, but I don't know if I'm hopeful, but I still want to see if I can get the excavator out. And once I do that, we'll figure out what the next course of action is. We got the excavator unstuck. Took a little finagling to get it out. I'm gonna have to let this dry a little bit longer. Now that it's exposed to the wind and the elements, I think it'll dry up. But honestly, we haven't had a good patch of like really nice dry weather in a while. Normally that would take just like 3 to 4 days, but with the weather that we've had this summer, with all of the rain we've had, it's really hard to tell like how long it's gonna take. Anyway, I have saved this A-line up here for the volunteers to build. It's a hand build section, and I want to give people ownership of this trail, so it's not just me. And I think this A-line over here is a really cool project for people to work on. Sometimes it's not really fun to work on the boring stuff, so I tried to save something that's going to be rewarding and exciting for people. All right, so we have our volunteer crew for the day. We got Noah, Asa, and Alex, right? Yeah. So we're gonna finalize this A-line and get this up and running. So the idea is that we're going to try to pull back some of that dirt, grade this out, make it a double purpose water bar and riding path, and then we'll work on the next section. Alright, so we got a little bit of rock armoring going. We're running into ledge right there, so the fact that we're running out of light and kind of getting into a tricky situation, we're going to call it night, and I'll pick this up another day. But and up here we have, whoa, this looks great, guys.
Yeah.
I moved rocks in person, not
like, thank you.
Him and his dad were building up there.
Woo.
Every time.
What's your name, by the way?
I'm Isaac.
Isaac. I don't think we met before, have we?
This is my first day out here.
Thanks for coming out.
Yeah, definitely.
Matt, thanks for the help.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess the goal for right now is just to get this A-line up and running, and I think that's where we're going to end off this portion of the video. Sometimes hard to figure out how to divide these videos up, because like sometimes like these videos are like divided up into months, and like the projects are pretty insane. Like even as is, I cut a lot of the video out because it just gets repetitive, and I don't want to completely bore you, but I tried to like add in the details. So you can see it's definitely firming up. It's not like if I drove over it with the excavator, I'd sink in pretty good. So that's why I kind of want to hold off doing anything here. And then my thought is I think I'm going to kind of rock armor that, but we'll save that until this kind of firms up a little bit more and I can figure out a plan.
I thought that one was it. Jesus. I couldn't even get it to budge when I tried to do that. I was like, I couldn't even get it to fucking slide with that thing.
Well, hello. It's been a little bit of time. Obviously, you can tell by the leaves that it's fall, so we're a few months ahead. And what happened is Haley and I got done with this section, and since it was like at the beginning of September, we knew we had not that much time left in the year to like get the trail finished and get the excavator out of the woods. So what we did is we just boogied and got the trail done, and now we're kind of coming back and filming some of these sections. So there's 3 lines. You can go down through the trees, you can go the main line around the ledge, and then you can actually go over the ledge here. But there's a line that I haven't tried yet, which is gapping from that hump to this ledge. I think this is one of those like sections of trail that it took a really long time to build. It doesn't seem like we did much, because literally like this whole video we've built maybe 5 seconds worth of trail, but it is so interesting and cool and unique that we had to do it. So I do kind of want to entertain this gap right here. It's hard to explain, but it's blind. It's blind and it's committing. It's not a big gap. It's just like in the context of where it is and what you need to do and like what could go wrong. This rock feels so close to your head or like right now. But like the gap doesn't feel big. The gap doesn't feel big. It's just like there's enough like awkwardness that like it freaks me out a little bit.
I thought you were gonna need way more speed than what you had,
Really?
for sure. Yeah, I was like,
Well,
he's not starting very high up.
well, the thing is, like, the faster you go, the harder the turn becomes.
True.
So you kind of want to like approach this with the least amount of speed you can get away with, because like it's not a big gap, so you can make up the distance by like yanking a little bit, but that turn is kind of like the limiting factor. It's like it's a very subtle turn. Let it be known that is a line that Haley eyed out or pointed up. Haley pointed out to me. So she might not be able to hit some of these things, but she has a pretty good eye for features. And it's, you don't see this in a lot of these videos, but she's a really handy person to work with, because like we bounce ideas off each other, and
So fast. Jeez.
going back and editing these videos, it's very like, it's fun for me because it's like a trip down memory lane, because like at the time of recording this, we are done building the trail, and so I had forgotten like all the little things that we had done to like get this to work, and like all the rain we had and whatnot. So there's at least 2 to 3 more videos of this project coming, so stay tuned, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.